What's up, guys? So, this is a P-Bandai box. This is what happens when you give a spoiled rich kid a Gundam and take away his girlfriend. And this is the absolute worst shield I have ever dealt with. Even worse than the Hazel. But this is Master Grade Monday, so let's get to it. So today on this Master Grade Monday, we're taking a look at the RX-0 in. Yay. This is, of course, the Unicorn Gundam 02 Banshee Norn, and this is clearly a P-Bandai kit. So, for no reason whatsoever is this a P-Bandai kit, other than they knew people would buy it. So as far as I could tell, there was no other way to get a Master Grade Banshee Norn. This was the only way, and for the longest time it wasn't even available. Actually, I only caught it the second time it went on sale, and these things were pricey because they put two of them on sale, the standard Norn and the final battle Norn, which I do have in the backlog and will be building sometime eventually. Not going to try to knock it out to go with the rest of these, but as you guys can see, nice, P-Bandai Master Grade box, very dark blue color scheme, as you would, see. So you've got the Banshee Norn right here, you got Beam Tonfa coming out here, you got Meteor going on there, you've got my light reflecting right up here. Actually looks cool because it looks like it's glowing. You've got Weapon, you've got Unicorn right up here because actually the box is too tall. There we go. Master Grade logo way up here, and then the top end of a big old backpack. Now we'll do a very brief boxing because realistically it's P-Bandai box, ain't much to look at. We do get 2014 Bandai right down there. For some reason, when boxes are blue, it makes my background look green. I don't know what's going on. So, RX-0 Unicorn Gundam 02 Banshee Norn full cycle frame Gundam cycle. And once again, I did it sideways, so you get all the warnings and stuff like this. Realistically, it's all we really need to see. So, 6,000 yen. That is an absolute joke. So, that's saying that this should have been 60 bucks or thereabouts. This was more than double that price. And honestly, I'm glad I got it, but man, I'm going to tell you guys right now, this guy has been in the box for a very long time. He's actually, I don't think he's ever been on display in my collection. Kind of like the Full Armor Gundam was, or Full Armor Unicorn wasn't really in my display for the longest time. And I don't know what happened, but we'll look at it as we go. And I'm going to have to do a tiny bit of film trickery to make this actually happen the way I want it to. So let's go ahead and get to the rest of the review, because frankly, it's P-Bandai box. It's pretty. It's upside down. Let's get to it. And here we go, guys. So here is Banshee and all of the parts that really kind of come with the Norn. Once again, I'm going to be honest with you guys. This is actually my standard Banshee, the one we've already looked at. But realistically, mold-wise, it's exactly the same. So the only thing we're going to... But this is actually the arm from the Norn because, can't remove that exactly. So we're going to take a look at all the parts and how they go on the Banshee, because it's all the same realistically. So we're going to take a look at that. But we will look at the actual Banshee Norn when we get to the actual Unicorn mode, or I'm sorry, the Destroy mode. So Unicorn mode makes no difference. It is what it is. So of course, first and foremost, you do get the cool folding V-fin. And you do get a solid V-fin as well, which is currently busy. But you do get this little guy. He is cool. It looks exactly the same as the one that comes on the standard one. Now you do get everything except for the standard Banshee parts. You don't get the claw, and you don't get the thingy here. So you don't get the BS and the other mobile armed armors. You don't get the standard armed armors, but you do get all the new stuff, which honestly there's a ton of new stuff in this box. So that's what we're going to look at right now. All the new things. So you do get a new rifle, more or less. So it does actually come with new parts round about in here, and this extra holder right up front. So the rifle itself is exactly the same standard beam rifle. And if I remember correctly, I brought it up before where I glued the thing in place, and just looking at it, judging, this is probably the one I glued because I can't pull it apart. So this is the one that was so loose that it was coming apart. So the new part is, of course, the little like quad launcher down here, I think is what it was called. And something I didn't realize until I read up on it. This thing actually could launch multiple different things. It wasn't just like a rocket launcher, grenade launcher, whatever. You could load each barrel with something different. It's actually pretty neat. Now it does actually hold one thing in particular. We'll take a look at that in a second. But you can slide that out like so. Little canister by itself. It does have a spare one that goes in the spare ammo slots on the Banshee, and we'll see that in the actual destroy mode. It is still on there. But one thing it does come with is pretty neat, is this thing. And I believe it was called a beam jute or something like that. Jutte. And it's very similar to a beam saber or a beam blade. So you see the handle down here. It can probably hold it, if I had to guess. But I didn't actually have this thing assembled. I've never used it up until this review, so I finally got it out of the box. I really do dig this awesome blue beam effect. Now, I can't recall if he did use this in the actual anime or the OVAs, but I assume he did at least once, because it said it can be used as a close-range weapon, not necessarily for slicing or anything, but I believe he blocked a beam saber from something else. Like I said, you can hold it like a normal beam saber, like so, but the main way it's shown is actually part of the quad launcher. So what you do is you pop the front cover off. You've got this little bit right here, slides in and out. Just flip it around, and now you've got a hole. And you pop the cover back on. I believe that's correct. Yep. So now you've got that spare big hole, and the entire thing just pops in there like so. And I believe he actually like use this to block a beam attack at some point, because I remember it like catching in there. So he could actually use this without having to reach for a beam saber or flipping out a beam tonfa. So it's actually pretty a neat weapon, and I like the effect. And I don't think it's used on anything else. I could be wrong, because it looks very similar to maybe how the one of the beam lances used to work back in the day. Yeah, I think that's pretty much the only thing you got here. You can hold it just like you can any other rifle. But this is one of the things where I have to be honest with you guys. Like I said, this is the actual arm from my Norn. Let's see. Okay, so it's pegged in there. And it's a floppy arm. So we don't even need to go over articulation realistically. Something happened to this guy, and I don't know what. Like I said, he's been in storage, so I don't understand how the joints, like right now I think only the friction of being at that extreme angle is holding it up, because for the most part it has just flat out collapsed. Like the wrist, very wobbly. The elbow tends to flop down if you have it less than 90 degrees. So that's about the only way he's going to hold that. And see, he drops it very, very easily. And I'm just going to show this off. I did a terrible job cleaning up nubs on this guy. And, you know, I can't look at the whole thing. We will look at the rest of it. But essentially, I had all the same nub issues with this and the Norn. I keep pointing over here because that's where he's sitting. So, that's it for the rifle and the cool beam effects. I like that. I really do. This nice bolted beam effects. Look at that, pretty. Okay, so let's look at the new attachment back here. So, if I remember correctly, this is the Armed Armor XC. So this is a whole new attachment for the backpacks. So normally where the beam blades would go, beam sabers, so like here, you just swap in these new bits, which is all the cool little parts back here. And you can see it doesn't close up perfectly. It kind of wants to unfold. In some ways it reminds me of like a bat wing or like a cape or something. So it reminds me a little tiny bit of the Deathside Hell's cape, the way it unfolds and stuff. And just in this mode, it's just chilling, just like that, and you can slap it on the backpack, or I'm sorry, you slap the backpack on just as you would, and it just looks very nice like that. And here's your proof that this is my original Banshee, the broken thing here. Now whenever I get to the destroy mode, we will look at the differences, because there are some differences actually between them, just very minor. Now here is the big accessory for this kit, the Armed Armor DE. And this thing is, well, it's very armed. So it's a combination of the shield, a booster, and a giant beam, I think it's a beam cannon, something like that. So you've got the beam cannon tucked away right inside there. It's in this nice little kind of tealish, purpley blue color. It's a kind of multiple different colors. Of course, the rest of the shield is as shield, booster effects all sort of just happen back here. It doesn't actually have like big thrusters or anything, but that is what it does. And according to the read-up, whenever it's plugged into the XC back there, it actually can match the speed of the base jabber. So realistically, as fast as the full armor was, which makes sense because he ran out in the battle with all this new armament to jump onto the full armor. Now this guy can have this in 2 different modes, and from the cold open you guys already know this is about one of the worst shields ever. So if you actually use the standard standard shield connection right here, this is one of the first times I've ever had to do this. I had to glue this entire joint and this one. So I can still rotate this, but I added glue to it to hopefully thicken it up, but it didn't really work. You can see it's still very, very loose. This had to absolutely be glued because it was just a floppy mess. Just to get it standing still, just for that cold open, I had to glue it in place. Not onto the arm, but just right here. So you have the normal shield connection, it connects to the arm. I'm not going to bother demonstrating it because it's terrible. However, I will show on the backpack, assuming this dumb thing isn't going to be in the way now, because it might actually be in the way. So you use the very similar peg to the way you would a bazooka or anything else plugging into the backpack. So you come to the back, you split this open like a little butterfly, like so, and you can see right through there, you can see the hole that it tabs into. But you get the cool little effects there. I like the gold and I like the extra psycho frame. Yep, that might be a problem. It might actually get in the way. You know what? I'll just go ahead and remove the whole thing and not even worry about it again. So, just plug that in. Just plug that in. What is the problem here? Come on, get in there. Okay, I guess it's plugged in. It's just very weak. It's a very floppy connection. Come on. What is it with some of these unicorns? They're just very, very finicky. Okay, so, and this is where he becomes so back heavy that he might just topple over. Come on. Get your feet under you. Come on. This is going to be one of those reviews. It's already begun to be one of those reviews just by everything I had to do just to get this thing started. But it's going to push it. I can feel it right now. It's just going to push it in every single way. It's just going to be difficult. I think even putting it on a stand may not help it. Okay, so I'm not going to touch it. I think it's going to fall, but we're going to go. So there it is in all its glory. So we got to see it take off like this from wherever he went. I think he was, it says he was on board, or he was with the Londo Bell. So he probably shot off from the Argonaut. I don't know. It's weird. I can't remember this series. I'm just honest with you guys. I'm focusing on the kit. It's being very, very annoying. So that's just all the backpack on there. It's going to do its thing. So let's go ahead and jump to the destroy mode so we can get the rest of this mess out of the way, because ugh. And when I say mess, you'll see what I mean. So let's go ahead and jump over to that. Alright, and here we have the Norn all in his destroy mode. And honestly, I want to see something, because this guy is extremely lanky. Like, can you guys see this? I mean, like, look how long Look how long these friggin' legs are. Like, that. Ignore the stuff sitting here. Just pulling him out of the box, I was like, is that normal? Because he seems insanely tall compared to even his normal self. So, I don't know. So, I mean, we haven't really gotten a chance to look at Destroy mode versus Unicorn mode. So, we just happen to have two of the same Unicorn here to pull that off. But, I no idea what it is. This is the exact same build. The legs look insanely long. Am I the only one who thinks that? I mean, look. So here's the, here's the normal Banshee as we just saw. Look at the height difference. Now I know this guy gains an inch of height, roughly inch and a half. This is insane. So I mean, it's constructed exactly the same. Everything is exactly the same about the kit until you get to the add-ons. How is this so friggin' tall? I mean, I don't even think compared to the normal Unicorn, it's that tall. We'll take a look at it with the full armor here in a minute, but this is just absolutely ridiculous. So when the Banshee, when any of the Unicorns get put in their Destroy mode, this is the height difference, and this is crazy. Like I said, I don't know if this is normal. It seemed abnormal to me when I first pulled it out of the box. But let's go ahead and take a quick look at some of the differences. There are just very minor differences, and they actually are just detail work. So now on this guy, I know I painted some stuff gold, but realistically what you get is some different stickers. So right here on these little side boosters on the skirts, you get a nice gold sticker there with some black and some silver. Of course, you got nothing on the original one. On the sides of the legs, you get the same thing for those little maneuvering thrusters, and honestly, it's a very, very nice detail. I do love that. And I'll be honest with you guys, the quality of this one, I mean, just the build. Something happened to this guy from the time I built him to now. Everything is very, very loose on him. And some of the touch-up I did, very, very ugly. Personally, my original one is a heck of a lot cleaner. I might take the updated bits off of this, put it on this, and call it a Norn. And leave this one in Unicorn mode, basically swapping out their positions. Because this looks like I built it first, just by quality, and I didn't. This is, in fact, the last Unicorn I ever built. So, I mean, I built this after Phoenix, so that gives you guys an idea. So, okay, so that's it for the comparisons, realistically. And you can see here, this is how the things, pop right off. But that's what one would look like otherwise. I'm going to set this guy off to the side. It's kind of hard to handle two of these things, because they're both very finicky, very floppy. I might steal an entire leg off this guy. So, this is actually the part that broke off of that previous one, just that clear plastic clip. So you guys should always be wary of your translucent bits, especially if they need to move. So realistically, we never got to see this before, so the nice little thrusters back there, that's how those work. Now on this guy, I painted a few things gold, so you see a little bit of gold right there in the ankle, and you see the thrusters. Once again, that just pops off way too easy. For something that cost as much as it did, I don't know what's going on with this kit. It's so messed up. Here's the extra little canister, little four-way canister dealy. Plugs in the same way as the normal ammo clips. Open that up, and I painted the thrusters gold, just like I did on everything else. So honestly, those are pretty much the only differences. That pops off again. I'm just gonna throw the whole thing away. I'm so tired of it. Oh, and I pointed this out last time. Remember that same stress mark right there? Just from assembly, it gets that bad stress mark. This one, not so much. It's got a little bit of one, but that's how different. The thickness of this makes it so flimsy compared to the piece you're snapping it onto. So let's actually get this guy armored up. I'm just gonna leave the thrusters on the back of the legs like so. You guys can see the knees very floppy on this guy, hips very floppy on this guy, ankles very floppy. No idea what happened. I built this thing. This was the 5th Unicorn I built, and it's the worst, like quality wise. I don't know what happened. I don't know if it's just the fact that it's the 5th time the mold was used and it's just mold degradation, or it's the way I built it. I have no idea what's going on with it, but it's annoying me more than all of the others combined. And now what's going on? Why are the hips so wonky? What is happening? Oh, okay, one thing is, this ankle keeps flipping down. I don't know why. So one ankle keeps flipping down, so he's not standing on his heels like he should. Stay, for the love of God. Okay, now we'll talk about the Armed Armor XC. So we already saw that these flip open like that, so you can plug in the DE to get booster mode. And I was holding it upside down, my bad. So to get it fully transformed is real easy. Flip that up. Flip all of this, oops, around like so. Flip that out. So flip that out and pop that right off. Come on. That's one problem that I have with these more than the others. They tend to pop out really easy. So there we have the XC. Oh, nice. And, you know, bling. Now, I didn't realize this, other than just being more Psycho Frame, does actually allow a non-new type user to use the NTD system. I didn't realize that, but it totally makes sense because Riddy wasn't exactly a new type. So, I mean, I think maybe something happened near the end where he was able to use all the Psycho equipment, stuff like that, because all of this stuff exploded, you know, when they were fighting the Neo Zeong, so something was different. Now, this little bit right here is supposed to fold up like it did before, but I cannot get it to move, so I'm not even going to fight it. We're just going to throw on the backpack so we can see him in his full Nornness. Show me your Nornness. There we go. Pull the chest out just a little bit. And honestly, it's a very, very epic look. That thing's beautiful. I'm going to take a picture before it falls over. Did y'all see that? No. Okay. Come on. Cooperate. See, from here, it looks perfectly fine. Because you guys can't tell the difference. Me? I can tell the difference. Alright, so let's go look at the Armed Armor DE and go ahead and get it. Transform for attack mode. Once again, that ankle, frickin', or the heel keeps folding under. That is so annoying. It's normally I should lock in place better than that. Every time I set it down, it just falls over. It's so stupid. Like I said, I think I'm going to swap this thing out for my standard Norn that does not have these problems. So, underneath, it is just a standard shield. So, you transform it very similarly. So, you want to pull it apart. Oh, I'm sorry. You want to pull these out, then these. If you don't pull those first, you won't pull those. Then you can slide it apart. Come on. It wants to. There we go. You got to open the normal butterfly parts. So the little eye field generator, all that stuff is still in there. That's what this whole thing in the middle is. That's for the eye field. Then you open up these parts, separate out the little bitty Psycho Frame bits, and there's the Armed Armor DE completely transformed. And that thing is awesome. It really does look cool, but it is a flimsy mess because you can see right there in the middle, there's a whole lot of nothing holding that together. So it literally just, each end just clips on over the top and the bottom of the shield respectively. Now, I've built 3 of these. 1 with the Norn and 2 with the Phoenix. This is less secure than the ones on the Phoenix. So I think maybe, just maybe, the Phoenix came first, but I don't know. Kit-wise, I don't know. So, I mean, realistically, Phoenix... Anyways, we're not going to talk about the movie in which that comes from. So, once again, you saw it briefly on the arm. It can totally mount as an arm mount shield. I'll just show it. I'm not going to try to clip it on. So we do see him using it in weapon mode. So he uses this big beam blaster. Now, I thought this moved a little bit, but I could be wrong. I know there's something about it. I honestly don't... Oh, yeah, that's right. This opened up for some reason. I don't remember. It has nothing to do with anything, as far as I know, but it is a hinge, so I don't know. So that has a little hinge to it. It's probably going to just pop off forever now. It's never going to go back on. But we can always put this thing back on the backpack, and it will look pretty epic, actually. If it'll actually stay on. Okay, so that time it actually clipped in place with an audible noise. So there is the Norn all Norned out. I don't know of a better way to put that. It's all Norned out. So of course Norn has some ancient German Norse roots, but doesn't really mean much of anything. It has to do with fairies and everything like that. So let's go ahead and give him his rifle, at least temporarily, because it's not going to stay in his hand. And it'll probably just pop right out. Come on, get in there. There we go. You gonna be good? You can hold it? Roughly? Here. I know you can do this. You can totally hold it in both hands. That should work fine. There we go. That's a Banshee actually doing what he should. And I believe this is probably going to be the thumbnail, guys. That's awesome. Let's see. I'll get better pictures later. So let's turn the legs out just a hair. Oh, there goes the knees. Just, it was that easy. Now, we're going to bring in his rival. Boom. Holy crap. Oh, totally. Shield is all up in his face. We had a slight incident right before the cameras rolled, and he got knocked over. So here is the most ridiculous unicorn with the most ridiculous Banshee. And yes, for those who want to ask, you can totally put this whole ridiculous backpack on this guy if you really want to, and vice versa. So you could have a unicorn Norn, unicorn, and you can have a full armor Banshee. So I mean, there are people who have done that, no problem. They've swapped everything over, and once again, you could totally do all of this psycho frame on this guy, or you just buy the final battle version like I did. So I do want to have these two on display together in a very similar fashion, but I think I'll do like I said. I believe I'll use the original Banshee to accomplish such a thing. We'll see what happens. Actually, you know what? Since we're here, let's cram all the unicorns in the same spot, because that's just the mess I want to create. Watch, look at it. Okay. Between his knees and his legs, he's trying to go over. He's just really, really going for it. Okay, so let's bring in Banshee, normal Banshee, right there. I'm going to scooch in full armor. And as usual, the normal unicorn wants to lose his backpack, because that's what he do. That's what he do. He loses his backpack. Actually, get that in your hand there, Mr. Unicorn. Mr. Unicorn. Alright, so the stand I use for the full armor is a bit crowded, but that's what we've got there. All the unicorns together, pretty much in their various modes, with the exception of Final Battle Norn, which I think I will assemble realistically as just a straight final battle with all the weapons and all that stripped down. So I think it'll be pretty good. I want to get a picture of this, because this is actually the very first time I've had all four of these kits together in one spot. Oh, then they weren't in a box. Come here, unicorn backpack. Now, one thing I can definitely do, depending on which Banshee I go with, I totally still have the water slides. So all the nice little fun details, even ones for the backpacks, can go on one of those. And they probably will. I feel like doing that. I think it'll look really good in Android. But yeah, that's going to be the end of this Master Grade Monday and the Banshee Norn review. I hope you have remotely enjoyed it. I haven't, because it's been a pain in my ass. And I'm honestly scared that it's just going to want to fall and take everything with it. But like I said, I'm probably going to end up upgrading this Banshee with all the Norn parts, and we ain't even going to look back at it. It's just going to be that way from now on. But if you guys are new here and you like it, make sure you like and subscribe down there below. We have all kinds of stuff. If you want to check me out on any of my social media, that's all linked below as well. And if you guys haven't heard of my Patreon, which, if you're new here, is the only reason you haven't heard of it, it'll be on the screen right here. I want to thank my patrons, SteelAngelJohn and Andy Tubbs. Also, I'm going to link in the description down below, and maybe up here in a card if I totally can. Andy Tubbs did an amazing MG Gym Sniper 2, and it's his first full paint job, and it's so beautiful. If I can pull it off, because he lives elsewhere, we'll try to get him on the showcase, because it's a very, very good job, and I really enjoy it. But check that out, guys, because he's a great supporter of Shoki Reviews, and now I want to support him back by showing off his stuff. Hopefully, maybe I can pull up an image right here. Bing! Just, of the actual thing he built, because it's so sweet. But I'll catch you guys on the next review. We've got so many things going on right now. So many builds to do, and so many other things. So I need to get to different master grades. I need to get to building some. We have plenty to work with. But as always, guys, remember, keep on building.